And we are back, and as you can see, folks, we are here with Speaker of the House, Speaker of the New Hampshire House, William Bill O'Brien. And Bill, I want to say thanks for finding GraniteGrok here at Americans for Prosperity's Defending the American Dream Summit here in Washington, D.C.
Well, Skip, I was really thrilled to see you here. I didn't realize you were going to be in town, but I should have known that wherever there's important gatherings, it's going to be Skip here.
Well, we were discussing just before we went live, you were asking me, why is it that I do all this stuff? Because we always seem to be around, and I was explaining liberty and freedom is at the heart of GraniteGrok.com. That my oldest son spent a tour with the Marines in Iraq, and my youngest son just came home from Afghanistan at the beginning of this year with a tour with the 101st. They faced real danger, and in the case of my youngest son, he almost bought the farm 3 times, 2 RPGs and an IED. There'll be some ramifications of that going forward. But if I can't take a few bad names calling me out by New Hampshire Democrat Chair Ray Buckley or Sandra Rice Hawkins, who lives on out-of-state progressive money, then I'm in the wrong business. But we are in a cold civil war, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let my grandkids and my great-grandkids, whenever they come around, ask me that famous question that Ronald Reagan asked: Grampy, what did you do when we lost our freedoms in the United States?
And I think so many of us that try to be as active as we can have those same thoughts. We look at the sacrifice that your sons and so many others, true sacrifices, have paid for this country, for our freedom. And when people in other states, talk to other legislators and other speakers, they'll say, well, you folks in New Hampshire, what is it with you? You get paid $100 a year to be a legislator, and why do you do it? And the answer is because the people allow me to, and I should do it, and this is important work. And to the extent that you have the ability, the time, the resources, you should be nowhere else.
He said, listen, I went there.
And that's the thing, I was just talking to James O'Keefe. He was going to sit down and talk with us for a little bit, but he kind of got overscheduled. But he'll be back. But it's the same kind of deal there. He sees that we are minus some of our liberties because people won't speak up, and it's so easy for us to lose them. Again, our Reagan quote: "Freedom is not given to the next generation through the blood." We have to look at this, and we look at what the Obama administration is. And I've got a specific topic I want to bring up with you about what's going down in the grassroots and almost in stealth mode in a moment. But if we don't stand up and we don't fight for that freedom, and if we don't elect people and say, here is our Constitution. I'm holding up the New Hampshire Constitution. I have been reading this to people, Article 10, Article 2, Article 1. To people who've never seen this before, the right of revolution and the specific thing about owning property. And they look at that and they're aghast at how well we have protected ourselves. Yet we see so many politicians, even in New Hampshire, the live free or die state, and we're talking to Speaker Bill O'Brien of the New Hampshire House. So many people want to disregard the Constitution. We just want to do what we want to do without being bound by anything. That's a road to tyranny.
It absolutely is, and to the extent we come up with this fiction that it's a living document in the sense that it's going to change over time, that's totally wrong. The Constitution is there as a static statement, a permanent statement of what our rights are and how government is to relate itself to us. And, I pick up on the same concerns that you have. I believe it was Ronald Reagan who said, we're never more than one generation away from losing our freedoms. And Skip, I know you're not going to let it be your generation or my generation. We're going to pass on this freedom in as robust a state as possible to the next generation.
About a month and a half, I was down in Providence as a guest of the Heritage Foundation and the Franklin Center for Journalism and Public Policy. We're trying to get them to come up and do the same training in Providence, bring them up to New Hampshire. We're hopefully going to do that in October as GraniteGrok starts to go into different areas that we're doing more than the normal blogger does already, because with all this setup we go to the different events. And I appreciate your recognition that we try to do more than the average folks here. But it's not enough. We have to activate the individuals. And getting Heritage and the Franklin Center up is going to be a big step in that. And we have to show by example. We did one right-to-know request against the Department of IT and DES to make them just even follow their, forget the Constitution bill. They're not even following their own standard operating procedures. Now, what they don't know, and maybe they will now, we're going to go back and see, what did you guys do? Did you guys actually start to follow your own rules? Because if not, we're going to issue more right-to-knows.
Right.
You have to be involved. So what do you say to those folks? Like, it's politics. We shouldn't be involved. It's so dirty. Look at all the hassle that the bad press that the New Hampshire House has given us this year. At least that's what the left would have us believe.
Well, part of that bad press is just the Democrats saying that what has gone on is wrong. I've watched it, for example, in the way that some of the leftist newspapers attempt to demonize the results of the petition for grievance, redress of grievance committee that we came out with. For once, we're vindicating a right that has been ignored in the New Hampshire Constitution for over 100 years, and it makes people uncomfortable. Of course they're going to demonize us for doing it, but it's the right thing to do. Look, for those folks who say politics is something unseemly to be involved in, I keep turning back in my mind to a quote, I think it was Leon Trotsky who was quoted, and he was quoted saying that you may not be interested in politics, but politics is interested in you. To the extent we don't get out there and join the battle as advocates for liberty and freedom, those who don't care about liberty and freedom, those who want to institute a collectivist point of view will have their way, and we will lose this heritage that was given to us by the framers of our Constitution. And it's been passed down through the blood and the sweat and the tears and the efforts of so many people, such as your sons, but even those who came before us.
Let me throw this out to you, Bill. And we're America. We're a free society. It could never happen here. Is that true? Will we always have the legacy of freedom that was birthed back with the founders' vision of the Declaration and the Constitution? In what ways do you see, from your office position, I know what it's like from down here at the very bottom as a lowly blogger, but from your standpoint, what kind of forces do you see that want to take that away, with the caveat that you and I shared something on a recording once, that your purpose as the Speaker of the House was to devolve the power from Concord back to the local communities and individuals. So do you still see a great harm that could come out of Concord?
Well, sure I do. At any level, the government should be, just on that last point, as close to the people as possible. To the extent that we perceive a problem, give the chance, the opportunity for solution to those who have a better perception than we do, and we'll see if the problem actually exists and what the best solution is. So clearly, government should be as local as possible. But you asked something that's very important, Skip. Can it happen in America? Sure it can. We have this view of history that things always should be the way they are at any given point, that the normal is the permanent. And it has been normal in this country, the normal, that we have freedom and liberty to varying degrees. Restricted at times under the Democrats in World War I. We had a substantial challenge to our freedoms. But the normal has been freedom. But can it be lost? Absolutely. To the extent we lose the courage of standing up and making sure that it's being constantly respected. And what's my perception now, 2 years later, 2 years after that conversation, I think it's been? My perception is that there's a lot of hard work, and my perception is that the work will never end. And why should it? Why should it? We owe it to our descendants. We owe it to those who gave us this, to constantly work. Democracy, freedom is hard work, and the work never ends. And if we ever fool ourselves thinking that the struggle is over, that we've done something permanent to it, then we're going to go back to what really and truly the normal of history has been, which is not normal.
GrokTV.